righty. Well, good afternoon. I hope everyone had a good meal. There was a lot of good food out there. Uh, yeah. Righty. Oh, okay. So, Val, you've got something to revitalize us after that big meal.
You're in for a real treat. First of all, we want everybody to stand up because we know that after dinner, lethargy has set in. So everybody needs to sit up, stand up. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to do some arm exercises here, first of all, okay? So we're just going to up with your right arm and back with your left arm and other way. We'll do that a couple more times. And don't forget to breathe. Okay, now we're going to go over to that side of the church. Great. And now over to this side of the church. Excellent. Take 3 deep breaths. Let it out slowly. Now on this next breath, we're going to have you breathe in as deep as you can. We're going to have you put one arm up in the air, and you're going to have you breathe out through pursed lips. And try to breathe out as long as you can, and the person that has the longest breath wins the next book, okay? So, okay, get ready to breathe in and go. When you run out of breath, you have to put your hand down.
You're not breathing out very hard.
Oh, okay. Who was that? Who was the...
Dave's still going. Dave's still going.
Dave's still going.
Okay, so I guess Dave's the winner. Okay. Okay. So everybody should feel revitalized now.
All righty. Well, our session coming up is called the Daily Dose of Connection. And Val, do you think we're connected?
Absolutely.
Why would you say that?
Well, for the last 11 years, we've pretty much basically sat side by side, knee to knee, doing our work together.
So what would that look like?
Well, that would be you doing the dental work and me being the dental assistant.
So how many here yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
With your call portering?
Call porting?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that spends that much time together? The one thing I can say is that when you do spend that kind of time together, you can finish somebody else's sentence, and you already know what they're thinking. And it's actually been pretty much a highlight of the years that I've worked. Have been to have, because you know that your dental assistant's going to show up for work. And that's always a good thing.
Things have changed a bit now in the week, and I work in Sycamoose during the week. He comes home on the weekends, but we still find it's really important to be connected. And so I'd say that we call no less than 3 to 5 times every day.
Now, I'm sounding really needy, but it's the apartment is really quiet. So
When we were going to school down at Loma Linda, we also realized how important it was to stay connected, not only to each other, but also to God. And as busy as especially Bruce was with studying, the one time that we did take off together was, of course, every Saturday, which was our Sabbath, and then on Sunday mornings we tried to do something special. And what we did is we tried to find a different place every Sunday to have worship together.
And I think that it's actually been a lot of fun just being able to, I don't know, just to spend time. And I think that's been a big strength for us. Alrighty, so we have another draw? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And do we have that basket?
Oh, I guess we need the basket. Oh, there it is.
Alrighty. Let's just have somebody draw a name. Okay, Val.
Okay, the lucky winner is Luke Hyman.
Seven principles making. I'll try this one.
Alrighty, at this time, we just want to go ahead and turn our time over to Doreen and Marlon.
Well, this is going to be the challenge. I know what it's like to sit there in the afternoon. This afternoon, we just want to share 3 principles. Well, there's probably more like 5, but really about what creates connection and friendship in a marriage and with people that you love and that are important to you. So we call it a dose of daily vitamin C. So vitamin C would be connection. It's a daily dose. And it's so important because we go through life getting so busy. I don't know if any of you have done your love language test to see what your love language is. So mine is acts of service. So you can imagine my personality is busy, busy. Let's get as much fitting into a day as possible. And sometimes the last thing I think about is relational things because I'm very goal task oriented. But I've had to reframe my thoughts and my mind to be relational.
Amen.
My husband is the opposite. His love language is quality time and physical touch. So you can imagine he comes home, he's like, let's connect. Let's get our daily dose of vitamin C in. I'm like, yeah, we need to connect.
Here's your honey-do list. Right?
Yes, but here's your honey-do list first. Then we'll connect. But really, it's learning what's important to him. What does connection look like to him? Even though acts of service, when you do things for me, I feel loved. Oh yeah, help me with a project, help me get supper going, help me with the kids when kids were younger. That made me feel loved.
Which I still don't understand how acts of service can be a love language. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't sound very loving, does it? Just doing something in tasks, I don't know.
How many of you are doers like me? So you would relate and say, yes, it makes me feel loved when you help me. Yeah. So defining what connection looks like to you and learning each other's world around this is so important.
Before we continue, you've heard the rest of the story? Well, somebody asked us at lunchtime, if our son is living and well. Yes, our son is here today. He's 23, he's 6'1", and healthy and amazing son. And yes, so yeah. And
our daughter, you guys need to stand up. And then his girlfriend, all three of you stand up. These are our kids.
So we didn't finish the rest of the story that our son, the Ewing sarcoma, the diagnosis that they had, after 2 years of going in and out of the children's hospital and doing MRIs, scans, bone samples, core samples, they determined they couldn't figure out what it was. He was a medical mystery. And they thought the most likely thing was osteomyelitis, non-bacterial, and they treated him. A doctor from Europe was able to treat him with an infusion for, 6 months, 9 months? And after that, he's been, for the last decade, he's been 100% pain-free and healthy. And yeah, so yeah, we didn't tell you the rest of the story that he's alive and well and healthy. And my Crohn's is in submission. I have no Crohn's symptoms anymore. So God healed us and restored. And actually, even my work, I was let go. And months later, they actually called me and hired me back. They were a sucker for punishment. They went around too. So I actually got my job restored. My wife, my kids, my family, my house, everything what God restored, just like Job, everything, and even better, and blessing.
Yes.
So yeah, I forgot to share that part. So I
Yes.
wanted to update you, make sure that everything's well.
So what does connection look like? So Dr. John Gottman, he created this relationship house. Those of you that got the 7 principles for making marriage work, you're going to learn about this in your book. But the first 3 principles build friendship. It's I know you, which he calls love maps. How do you know each other? I love you, which means when you show appreciation, it makes you feel loved. And I'm here for you. When we constantly turn towards each other's bids, it makes us feel like we have each other's back. We're on the same team. So these are the 3 principles that we want to just go through in this hour together. The first one is knowing each other's world. And he talks about an intricate love map, how we all have an intricate love map. And that love map involves what we like, what we don't like. It involves our dreams, our worries, our aspirations. It covers everything, even our spiritual beliefs, everything in that map.
But I'm a man, I don't need a map.
Oh, you know what? You need to know my map, though. Do you think men have a map? Absolutely. Children have a map. In fact, children's love maps change daily because they're very curious. So they may be exposed to an outing to, a honey farm. And now they love honeybees. And that's all they see is honeybees as they buzz around. Look, Mom, there's a bee. It's making honey, right? So their love maps change very frequently. Our love maps they say you should revisit each other's love map every 3 months. Because my husband took me out for dinner to this Italian restaurant on one of our date nights. And now my favorite food is different. So we might have that, conversation about what's going on in your love map world, what's different. So we're going to ask those questions. When we're first dating, we're so intent in knowing each other. We're probably even taking notes on a napkin, right? And take it home. Oh, she likes this, or he likes that. I'm going to do that next time for her. But then we get married, and what happens? We just assume we know each other's world.
We stop asking those curious questions and getting to know each other. We think we know each other, but really, do we know each other? A lot of times we have couples fill out a relationship checkout, and they score high on love maps and that they know each other. And then we start talking to them, and after a couple sessions, we realize they really don't know each other. They think they know each other. So really creating these love maps, getting to know each other. And I'll give you an example of a love map and why it's so important to learn these things. So especially this is for men. So men, if you're dozing off after the, wait this time to wake up and pay attention, because this is very vital. So for 24 years, I thought my wife's favorite flower were red roses, right? Isn't that what you see? That's the advertising, the stores, the marketing. Yeah, Valentine's Day, everything is, it's the flower of love. So for 24 years, on special occasions, I would bring my wife a dozen red roses.
Yeah, and I would accept them. I'm like, oh, thank you.
But I finally asked her, honey, what is your favorite flower? We were going through this, and I was learning his love maps, and I've never asked the question, honey, tell me what your favorite flower is.
It's a Gerber daisy.
A Gerber daisy? What's that?
No, it's not Gerber baby food.
Okay.
No, Gerber daisy.
Okay.
It's a beautiful flower with a thick stem and almost daisy-like flower on the top with a big button center. It's absolutely beautiful. Comes in all different colors.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, pink.
Pink. So pink Gerber daisy is actually your favorite flower.
Yeah, I love them.
Okay, so now I've learned what her favorite flower truly is. So guess what? What I buy her is a Gerber daisy for special occasions. And this is where it's a game changer, because Gerber daisies are a quarter the price of roses. So this is how important it is to learn love maps, right? Because you can save a lot of money. And make her happy. It's a win-win, right? So this is why can we plant some up at the farm, son? So friendship. Really we're becoming friends. We were just friends, and we became better and better friends. But that friendship, we stopped doing the things that developed the friendship. And this, I know you, I love you, and I'm here for you. So we want to relearn those 3 foundations of the house. That house, last night we talked about the relationship poison, the things that tear down the house. And then we talked about forgiveness this morning. Now we want to talk about rebuilding the house and rebuilding the friendship and getting to know each other again. And it seems so simple, but it's so profound and so effective that how important it is. So what is friendship?
Yeah, so I want you to do a little mental checklist. How do you check out here? Friendship is showing interest in each other's world.
You like what you're doing at work and picking up your groceries and all your laundry list? Yeah,
and that I like craft shows.
Oh, yeah, she loves craft shows. We'll talk about that later. Learning about each other's preferences and opinions.
Treating each other with respect.
Showing up for each other.
Having each other's back.
Laughing and playing together. Boy, that sometimes just stops, doesn't it? Life gets busy. We have responsibilities, work, and church duties, all good things. But a lot of time we talk to people, we don't have time to connect. We don't have time to play together. What? We don't have time. Well, you will have time if everything's about intentionality and being a priority.
That's right. And then having shared interest. We always tell couples, What he's interested in, you're interested in. And what she's interested in, you're interested in. You learn to be, if you want to have a friendship, you have to be interested in what the other person is interested in and be actively engaged in it. So this is super important. So if you scored 50% or less, the friendship needs to be worked on. So take a mental note. What is it that you need to work on this checklist? And then start putting it into action. Have a conversation about what shared interest looks like. Maybe you decide you want to take up pickleball together. I don't know. Maybe you decide you want to build a project together.
So one of the keys is a lot of times we ask questions like that are close-ended questions, right? So if we ask what your favorite color is, you would say blue. And then it's the end of the conversation, right? It doesn't. So what I want to ask is open-ended questions. You know, something like, tell me about your favorite vacation.
Oh, do you have time?
No, not really, actually.
Oh, okay,
But-
okay. How about I ask you a simple question? What's your favorite color, honey? I haven't checked in with you. Is it still blue?
No, actually, it's pink.
Really? It's
Yeah,
pink.
it is. And when you bought that new outfit, ooh, pink is my favorite color now. You look awesome in pink.
You like this?
Oh, it's,
Thank you. Okay, so pink is your favorite color
It is
on
now.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you catch how I caught that? He said his favorite color is pink. Is it really pink?
Mm-hmm.
But I rephrased it and I said, okay, your favorite color is pink on me. So if I say it that way, I'm really hearing what he's saying. So am I going to wear pink more for him? Probably. Yeah. So updating those love maps is so important because he's told me why he likes pink. And it has a memory for him. So you're asking what and how questions. Those are open-ended questions.
So we're going to take the opportunity right now, turn towards each other. If you're friends or a couple, turn towards it and ask an open-ended question. And this is the open-ended question is, what's a dream you have for the future? And then as a good listener, you're going to ask, when they tell you, you're going to keep on asking more open-ended questions to learn what that dream looks like.
Go
for the future.
deeper and deeper and deeper
To learn something new.
discover and uncover more about that dream.
All right, so take a few minutes right now and ask each other this question. So take maybe 2 minutes, let the one person be the talker, one listener, and then take 2 minutes of switching. And you guys are all, just do it as friends.
Do it as couples, do it as friends.
This is for all relationships. What's a dream you have for the future? I didn't realize you had that. That'd be my dream. More fun.
Just go ahead and switch. Would anyone like to share something that they learned new about the dream of the person that you chatted with? Maybe you knew about the dream, but you didn't know a certain aspect of that dream. Would anyone like to share?
Okay, we've got one dream here, one dream. Go ahead. Yeah, go
okay.
ahead. Yes, thank you, David.
Check. My dream has come to the place that I want us to have a home up in the property with all my family.
Wow. That's a pretty big dream.
I think it's come true.
Okay.
Work on it.
Amen.
All right. So this is mom-in-law, my precious mom-in-law, and I learned something new today about her dream.
Heather.
My husband has abandoned me, so I was talking with Zahara here, and
Okay.
Zahara wants to become a missionary somewhere. So I was like, that's a wonderful dream to have. Wonderful dream for the future. I was like, alone or with somebody else, you know? She's not sure yet. I said, what
that's
kind of
awesome.
training would you take to become a missionary? And so she's contemplating something that she could take.
Awesome.
That was a very good example. Did you notice she asked an open-ended question to follow up the answer? So told her a missionary, and then she used the word what to start a sentence. What would you do as a missionary? So she's digging a little deeper in the conversation. And then she could have asked, where would you go? Okay. And then, when do you think that's going to play out in your life? How old do you think you'll be? So you can see how you can go down, these little rabbit trails to learn more about really what's going on in her mind and her heart. So that's what Love Maps is about. It's not just asking what's your favorite color. It's going deeper, asking those open-ended questions, the what and how and where, or phrases like, tell me more about that. We tend to just stop at what's your favorite color, and we don't dig deeper like we once used to.
Yeah, so that beginning foundation of the friendship is we want to be known and we want to know the other person. So again, getting to know each other. God says he knows everything about you, even when you were in the womb, before he formed you, right? He knows everything. And we want to have that same knowledge with each other.
So this is one of the things that goes by the wayside as we spend more years together in our relationships. We neglect knowing each other's world. So the fourth prescription is?
Fondness and admiration. Fondness and admiration are the two most crucial elements in rewarding and long-lasting relationship. And we talked about, I think a little bit last night, we talked about the honeymoon phase in that first 2 years. We are very good usually about expressing fondness and admiration and appreciation, all those good things. However, we stop becoming appreciative. We start taking each other for granted. We start expecting things, and we don't necessarily say thank you. I mean, how many times do you still thank your wife for every meal, every breakfast? Do you still thank husband for going to work? Do you feel still thankful? You're still grateful for all those things that we do, that we just do it every day, and we don't even think about it.
The first 2-3 years of a child coming into your family are the most stressful times, because this love map period, knowing each other, it doesn't happen as often. You don't have those conversations as often. You're busier. And then showing the fondness and admiration for each other, that tends to go by the wayside too. And then as that child is growing, who gets the fondness and admiration? The child. Oh, good girl. You're such a big boy. Thank you for helping put the toys away. They get all the fondness and admiration. After 2 years of that child being in your life, they start to walk and run. What happens? Don't touch that, Johnny. Chew with your mouth closed. All of a sudden, that fondness and admiration switches. It seems to be that 2-year mark where all of a sudden we forget to show the fondness and admiration. We zone in on what's not going right instead of shining the light on what the person is doing well.
I want you to listen to this. When marriages fail, it is not increasing conflict that is the cause. So the conflict isn't the cause of the marriage failing. It is decreasing affection and emotional responsiveness that is the cause. So a lot of people come to, well, the conflict is causing, but it's actually, the conflict is caused when we don't express and appreciate each other, that fondness and admiration. So we need to, this is the antidote for contempt, right? Is expressing fondness and admiration. And learning
Appreciation.
Last night I think we did a little exercise like that, and some people said it was uncomfortable expressing fondness and admiration.
That's right. So when we work with couples, coaching couples during the week, if they're in this relationship where they feel like there's no friendship anymore, we invite them to start building the friendship again. Get to know each other. Start sharing appreciation and fondness and admiration for each other's character and who you once loved them for, right? You love that part of them.
So when I tried to express fondness and admiration with my wife, I was talking to a friend of mine from Rwanda, and I said, teach me, what, from Rwanda, from Africa, what was the example, what's the highest compliment you can pay a woman to really impress her, right? So they told me. So I came home, and this is, honey, I just want to tell you that you have beautiful thighs like a cow.
Pardon me?
You have beautiful thighs like a cow.
I'm confused because cows' thighs are really big. Do you think I'm fat?
No, it's supposed to be a compliment.
That's not a compliment.
So I go back to church next week, and I tell my friend, so don't you tell her? He said, yes. And I said, I spent the last several nights on the couch. Thank you. So what did you tell her? I said, well, it's just exactly what you said. And he said, yeah, I told her, I told my wife she's beautiful. She has these beautiful thighs like a cow. Thighs? No, eyes. See, I didn't understand the language to me. Yeah.
Very important, honey.
Yes.
Oh, so Proverbs 16:24 says, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. So when we treat each other with kind appreciation, fondness and admiration, it's healthy and healing for our hearts and our bodies.
Marriage is kind of like buying a car, right? It's very different. There's different makes, models. There's sporty models, and there's the luxury models. There's the high maintenance models. I chose a 1968 sports car, and a little bumpy ride, but it was good. It was fun. But after a couple of years, some of the there was a few parts that started to rattle. A few dings, car door dings. You need a little touch-up paint. Sometimes, things just weren't working the same, right? And the exhaust, starts to get a little leaky, and it starts to get a little smell, and after a while, you lost that new car smell, right? And you just kind of like, oh man, it's just. This maybe some parts are falling off and falling apart, and we need a few parts replaced. And the spare tire maybe has a bit of a bulge. Maybe. Yeah. This starts to kind of fall apart a little bit, and the engine light comes on. You know what I did? I found the solution. It's so costly to go to a mechanic, right, and get help for fixing your car. So I just put a piece of duct tape over the engine light. It doesn't bother me since. So, after a while, unfortunately, my car's not working so well. The engine light's been on it for a few years, and I've ignored it. So sometimes, we ignore the car, we ignore the warning signs, and we just pretend they don't exist. We ignore that engine warning light because we know it's going to be expensively built. This car is the number 23. Do you know what kind of car that is? It's a Ferrari. Yes, it's a GT250 Ferrari. Yes, that's my first car. Beautiful 1960s car. How much do you think it's worth? It's a lot. How about the car, the brand new Ferrari below it? How much do you think a brand new Ferrari is? 350, 300. This particular car is worth 500,000 US dollars. You know, after a while, when our car, needs a bit of maintenance, sometimes we look at the other cars, we compare it to the other cars. There's new, faster models out there. And we start looking and we start to think, hey, maybe I could do an upgrade. Maybe I should trade my car in. This car is not working so well. It's been damaged. It's been maybe in a few car wrecks. Sometimes we think that new model looks so. The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? That usually is fertilized with manure, right? So it may not smell so good. This car on the top, do you think it's worth $500,000? An old car? How much is it worth? Depreciation, what do you think it's worth now? 70,000. Oh, Luke is saying up. How much, Luke? Couple million. 3 million. Who said that? 3 million. Wow. 3 million. It's more than a new car? Why? What if I told you a bit of the history? What if I told you won the Tour de France automobile 6 years in a row? Do you think that would increase? Do you think the values change? How much do you think it's worth now? $10 million? Wow. What if I told you there was only 30 of them made? Higher? What? More? Higher? Okay, how much now? Okay. What if I told you this is actually the last known car that exists? More? Wait a minute, you guys, you're all over the place here. Why is it, you just told me it was worth maybe $2-3 million. Why is it all of a sudden increased in value? One of a kind. Because the car has a history. The person sitting next to you is one of a kind. It has a history. Have you seen somebody driving a brand new car? Have you seen somebody driving a classic that's been restored? Is there a difference? The person driving the classic, you can just see, oh man, they're in love with their car, right? And as we appreciate and when we invest, one of the things that they love the car so much is they put so much investment in it. They spend so much time. They spend their money. They fix all the little things that need to be going wrong. If we were to put that kind of investment into our relationships, instead of comparing to the new models and thinking maybe the newer model might be better, but I can tell you that new models don't last as long. They don't make them like they used to. They cost more to operate. They're higher maintenance. So you're better off sticking with the model you have and investing in the model that you have and restoring and rebuilding what you have. I'm going to tell you the value of the car up at the top is $70 million US. 70 million because the history of that car. Again, this car is priceless. You can't put a tag on it. And when I started investing in our marriage, started repairing and rebuilding and putting the time in, we have something that's better than any new car that we could have ever had. So invest and put the time and effort into your relationship.
So we want you to start practicing sharing fondness and admiration. I know last night we did it. We're going to do it again today because it should be a daily dose.
And some of them weren't here. Didn't have the opportunity.
Some of you didn't have the opportunity. So daily, learning each other's love maps, asking the open-ended questions, and daily sharing fondness and admiration. So last night, we did a scenario where I appreciated what Marlon did for me. I said, thanks for taking out the garbage, honey.
You're welcome.
And then I said, you know what, honey? I really appreciate how loyal you are. You're always there for me. You're always working as a team with me. And I just so appreciate that about yourself.
Thank you.
So how did that feel? Did the first way feel better or the second way? If someone was to appreciate you? The second way, because you're appreciating character, who we are. So I want you to take a moment to turn to the person next to you. Name a character trait that you appreciate about that person.
So if you shared one last night, share another one. This can be challenging.
Yes, a different one. And then tell them the story about when they displayed this character that, just share the story about, when you did this, I just loved that part of your character that came out, and name that character trait. So take turns. So we're going to take some time. I'll tell you when to switch, and you can start. Anyone like to share? Share how it felt. If it was something maybe you don't do all the time, how did it make you feel? Okay, yes.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
one at the back as well.
Hello? Okay. A few days ago, Bruce just randomly at like 2 o'clock in the morning just kind of woke me up and said, "Hey, do you want to go for a ride?" I said, "Not really." And then I got to thinking about that would be really fun, actually. So we got up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. We went for a ride. I left a note for my mom in case she woke up and found us not there, just so that she'd know we were going to come back. And it was really fun. It was a sense of doing something really bizarre in the middle of the night.
Fun and adventure.
That's a
Amen.
great example of building friendship, the fun and the laughter. Thank you.
one of the things I really love about my husband is that I can count on him to fix something. And it happened not very long ago, and I knew there was something wrong with the vehicle. It was sounding like there was something flapping in the breezes, and it's like, okay, I don't know what this is. The car seems to be running fine. Everything seems fine. I looked at the tires even myself when I was stopped, and they didn't look like there were anything the matter with them. I looked around, see if there was anything hanging off them. Didn't seem to be seeing anything. But yet it seemed to be getting worse and worse. And so it was comforting in my mind that I told myself, well, if I could just remember to tell my husband, he would be able to fix it. And so I was praying one day when I went to work. It's like, oh, please help me to get all the way there and back, because, this problem is I don't know when it's going to erupt, and I don't want to be stopped at the side of the road. Praise God, I did get all the way back home. And that day I remembered, I went straight in as soon as I got there. Please come and look at the vehicle. And he was very kind, and he came straight out and he took it for a short drive, and he knew what the problem was, just like I thought he would, and he fixed it. He basically, the one tire was coming off, and so it was making all that racket. So thank you.
Wow.
See, that was an example of expressing fondness and admiration. You could hear it, right?
Yes.
And expressing fondness and admiration or appreciation publicly is actually even one of the great, it even intensifies the effect, right? It's good to be felt publicly acknowledged, or when your spouse speaks highly or somebody speaks highly of you in public, it's even a nicer way of
What do you see more of? Couples complaining about their spouses in public, or bragging them up in public? Usually cutting them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So encourage one another in public. Now, that was a great story to move into the next topic, which is turning towards bids. See, her husband, she made a bid, will you come out and look at the vehicle? And he turned towards her and came out and did it. So great segue into this. So turning towards bids for connection or support or dreams coming true. These are things that most couples don't do well at. And every single couple we coach with through the week is not doing this successfully.
So relationship masters, those who are doing well at relationships, they turn towards each other 86% of the time. And relationship disasters, which we were for 24 years, we didn't turn probably towards each other even 33% of the time. It was probably less than that. We had stopped turning towards our bids. So, here, Dr. John Gottman says, continually turning towards your loved one creates the foundation of trust, emotional connection, passion, and intimacy. And, a lot of times when we do a relationship checkup with couples, one of the things they come up is the trust. They have a trust issue, and a lot of times we'll explore that. And there's been no betrayals, there's been no anything. They couldn't put their finger, I just don't trust. And what it is continually, when we don't turn towards the bids, or we turn away, we ignore them, or reject those bids, over time it erodes trust. So all those little small daily little bids that we make that are ignored turns to be, over time, really damages the relationship. And there's that mistrust. And that was one of the things that happened in our marriage.
This was huge. I did not trust Marlon. And finally I discovered when we were repairing what it was. And it's because my love language is acts of service. I need a man of action. Whereas he was very laid back and a procrastinator for the first 24 years. But when he learned that's how he loves me, God transformed his character. He is now a man of action. So when we talk about things, I make a bid, usually it's to help me with something. He turns towards the bid. And if he can't do it right then he communicates when he can. So the light bulb story, that broke down trust in our relationship, because it wasn't just the light bulbs. It wasn't just this. Just like me turning towards his bid for quality time broke down trust in the relationship, because he didn't feel important because I didn't take the time for him. So you can see how this is the biggest way that distrust occurs in relationships. It's those small daily turning away from each other that creates the distrust.
So bids for connection. A bid is an attempt a person makes to connect with someone. A gesture, verbal or nonverbal, for positive connection. It's i.e. conversation, maybe a joke or humor or affection, or needing support or help, or we're doing something. So these are bids, but we stop learning, or we ignore the bids, and we don't recognize the bids, or a lot of times it's not maliciously attacked that we don't turn against them, but it's a lot of times we just don't even recognize them. So we want to talk about what bids look like.
You know, kids, they will rebid. Daddy, can you come play ball with me?
Can't you see I'm busy right now? I have to do this work project. I have to get it off. So just I'm busy.
So the child comes back. Daddy, you said you'd come.
I told you I'm busy. I need to get this finished. Just go out and play. I have to finish this. This is important.
Daddy!
I told you I'm busy. Go to your room.
The child's on the floor screaming, having temper tantrum, and then they're saying, I hate you. You know, kids will rebid. But if we continually stop turning away, they will no longer rebid for what they need, and they will withdraw. These are the kids that stay in their rooms a lot. Now, adults, they don't bid like children over and over. Adults will rebid once or twice. Sometimes some men will say, that's not true. My wife nags at me all the time.
So they're making bids, and they are doing it with criticism and contempt.
Or there might be making a gentle startup bid, but the other spouse is not turning towards. So I always tell couples, if you want to stop nagging in your relationship, turn towards each other. It'll stop it instantly. It's an amazing concept, isn't it? So simple. You just have to turn towards each other and fulfill the bid. Nagging will be non-existent in your relationship.
So what do bids look like? So paying attention to what I say. Hey, honey, did you see the squirrel out there this morning? It was running around out there. Isn't it cute?
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
A lot of times that's a bid. Just to connect. It's very subtle, very simple, but a lot of times we just, what squirrel? Yeah, that's nice, honey. Yeah, it's interesting. We don't even lift up our head from the newspaper, from our phone or devices. We just ignore the bid. We turn away, right? We don't listen to it. So what is another example of a bid?
Responding to a simple request. Honey, can you take out the garbage for me before you go to work?
Yes, dear. I'd love to take out the garbage. I love it.
Or he could forget, right? Help or work with me.
Could you help me make dinner tonight?
Okay. Yeah, we haven't cooked dinner in a while.
Show interest in my accomplishments.
I saw the email that you won this award at work. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Answer my questions for information.
How many times have you had someone ask you a question and then you don't respond because you're so busy at what you're doing? What did you say?
Hey, what's Bob's number? It only takes a couple minutes, right? But sometimes we don't respond. Hey, just talk with me or chat with me.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have to run out and water the plants. Maybe when I get back? And then what happens if you don't remember?
Respond to my joke. As you know, I tempt jokes, but sometimes it's nice when my wife responds to me. Yes.
Yes. What about help me de-stress? So Marlon may come home and he may say,
I've had a really hard day today. Man, it's just so discouraging.
oh, can we take time after dinner just to talk about it?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Help me problem solve.
Yeah. So this was a conflict the other day with the couple that I was coaching. You know, he wants to problem solve and she keeps turning away. So you have to understand why the turning away happens. So asking those questions. Being affectionate.
This is my favorite bid.
Yeah, that's his love language. So for him, if he comes over and puts his arm around me, I could continue doing the dishes.
Honey,
Right?
you just want to come
Or
snuggle? You just want to
cooking.
come cuddle? Yeah.
Or I could turn towards him and reciprocate.
Come play with me. I mean, children do this all the time. Hey, Dad, come out and play. Hey, Mom. And as a matter of fact, this last Christmas, our daughter came home. She's now 21. And she came home and said, hey, Mom, Dad, can we build a fort? You're 21 years old. What do you mean build a fort? Well, she was 20. She's 20. She wasn't quite 21, but she said, can we build a fort? It's like, what is going on in my brain is that, okay, we're going to make a mess of the living room. We said all nicely clean for Christmas. And as we have to take everything apart, we have to get all these sheets. We're going to make a mess and we have to clean it up after. It's an unnecessary thing, right? So in my mind, I'm going to say no to the bid, right? Just, too much work, too much effort. But instead, I decided, because we are learning, and I'm a slow learner, but I am learning, I turned towards the bid and I said, yeah, let's make a fort. Let's build a fort. So we turned our whole front room into this, but just like when the kids were young, we had made turned our whole living room into a fort. And we made some fancy drinks like the Virgin Pina Coladas and with little umbrellas and straws. And we spent hours in there connecting and building emotional connection. We wouldn't have had that experience had I turned away from that bid. And how would she have felt?
Probably turned like we turned against her. Now, why would someone make a bid like that? It's probably because she had great memories of family connections under a fort growing up. And she wanted to relive that experience and to create fun in our family. She's the one looking for ways to create connection as a family. So she thought, you know what? We had so much fun. I think this would be a great family connecting activity.
And it was a lot of fun. It'd be like
It
getting up in
was.
the middle of the morning at 2 o'clock. Hey, let's go play. Let's go have fun.
That's right.
Let's have an adventure. Let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
Let's go play pickleball. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
We lose as we get older and we get more responsibility. We lose the ability and the opportunity to have fun and do things random, spontaneous, make adventures, make fun. Mm-hmm. That's what builds connection.
And friendship. Mm-hmm. The last one is join me in the adventure. Mm-hmm. So that was an example of a little adventure, getting up in the middle of the night, building a fort, something we don't normally do. It's adventurous. Trying a new restaurant, new food.
So when we make a bid, we have three options. We turn towards the bid, which then there's more bidding, there's more connection, and bonds build stronger.
Or we can turn away. So we could physically walk away, and that could be turning away. Or we could turn away with our words. Like, why would you want to do that? So we create less bidding. If somebody turns away from my bid, I'm probably not going to bid again because I feel guilty for even asking. It creates more conflict and also hurt feelings, and those emotional bonds decline.
And then we can turn against, which is the most harmful. Yes, turn against. Like I turned against travel with my wife. Yeah, we don't have enough money. Why would you even ask to go to Europe? We we can't afford it. I mean, that's just a stupid dream. Just leave it alone. Like we turn against the dream because and that squashes and destroys the heart. So then after a while, she stopped bidding.
Just to avoid conflict.
She avoided conflict. She suppressed her feelings. Well, and they got angry, more and angry. And then the bond eventually was broken. It was destroyed, right? Because I was turning against her bids.
So let's discover, what do bids look like in your world? So number one, what are some ways I express my need for connection or support? How do I make bids in this area?
Am I aware when my loved one is making a bid?
What do verbal and nonverbal bids look like in my relationships?
Yes, I know one of my bids was always, I would come home from, hey, honey, would you like to go to the mountains tomorrow? Let's go hiking. Oh, you know how much I love hiking. Let's go hiking tomorrow.
Okay.
You don't sound too enthused.
No, you want to go. Let's go.
I know I want to go, but it doesn't sound like you really want to go.
Yes, let's go.
No, it doesn't. You don't want to go. We're not going. I don't want to go.
Give me a break.
Hello,
I said
I'm not gonna
I
go,
would
you're gonna be miserable. You're
go.
just be on the hike. You're just gonna be, you're gonna be dragging your feet. It's not gonna be fun. So I don't want to go.
Okay, fine. Go by yourself.
So sometimes we may turn towards the bid, but not with our hearts. It's like, oh, okay, I'll do it, right? And as when I made the bid, I didn't really feel she responded that she really doesn't want to do it with me. She's just going because she has to, right? So we like talk about enthusiastically turning towards the bid, not just turn towards the bid, but enthusiastically, so the other person knows that you want to do it. So what would be a better way? Honey, it's supposed to be really nice tomorrow. You want to go hiking?
Yeah, let's go hiking.
Oh, okay, great. Maybe we get up at 7 a.m. and hit the mountains early before the traffic.
Could we go a little later? It's really our only day to sleep in. So could we sleep in till like 8 or 9 and then
Oh,
go?
sure. Okay, why don't we leave at 9? I'm
Okay.
just good. And then maybe after when we're done our hike, maybe, when we come back, maybe we could stop at that little restaurant you really like in Canmore.
Oh, I would
be fun.
love that. Now, what kind of sandwich do you want? Do you want a sandwich or what do you want? A smoothie or?
My favorite, peanut butter and honey. It reminds me of us, right? You're the peanut butter that sticks us together. So again, she turned towards the bid enthusiastically, right? And it made me feel loved. The first time did not.
Maybe it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but remember what's important to him is important to me.
And another example of that is my wife. I don't know if you have him here in the Okanagan Valley, craft shows. You have craft shows around
Especially Christmas time.
here? Do you? So my wife loves craft shows. And she would bid year after, hey, honey, there's a craft show here this weekend. You want to go on Sunday? No, I don't want to go to craft. That's just a waste of time.
Come on.
Everything's overpriced. And it's just, no. I don't want to go to craft. It's just,
But we could do something fun, like go out for dinner or something along with it.
I'm not interested. For several years, I would turn against that. During our repair now, when she asked me to go craft shows, I actually turned towards, yes, let's go to the craft show. And I'm excited to go to craft shows now. But sometimes we have to have a mindset makeover. Because what she said earlier is what our spouse is interested in, we need to become interested in. Because we're interested in them, we become interested in what they like and what they, So when I learned some of these principles, when I learned how important this was to go to craft shows with her, I started accepting the bids enthusiastically and would go to the craft shows. And you know what? My two love languages are what? Quality time and physical touch. Guess what we did all evening? We held hands, we were giggling, we were joking, spending quality time, went out for dinner, and it was like, it was amazing. So craft shows actually they're amazing, guys. I encourage you to take your gals to go find a craft show, take them to the craft show, have some fun bonding, physical touch, connecting. It's the mindset. Before I thought, craft shows really, I'd rather, watch the paint dry, right? But it's the mindset. When I started accepting it, because I know it's important to her and I want to make her happy, actually, I'm the one benefiting. I probably have more fun. I'm the one dragging her to craft shows now. I'm the one booking on, hey, honey, it's a craft show next week. Let's go. I enjoy them because there are a lot of fun. And I spend more money at the craft shows than she does. So that's a confession.
It's true. So take a picture of that slide if you didn't, because these are good conversations to have. What do your bids look like? Are you missing bids? Many couples miss bids. They don't recognize what they look like. So give each other permission to say, honey, that was a bid for whatever it was, connection or support or help or to fulfill a dream.
Just remember, moments of connection, no matter how small, are deposited into a couple's emotional bank account. We accept each other's bids and act on them. These are the biggest deposits we can make. So the ratio is for bids for connection is positive perspective is 5-to-1 in a conflict situation. In a normal, regular, healthy relationship, our positive to negative ratio should be 20 positive interactions to 1 negative. And we go below that. So unhealthy marriage disasters are usually less than 1-to-1. And that's where 1 positive, 1 negative. So we wanted to turn those positive interactions, those turning towards making those
Yes.
deposits to that love language, whatever that is, into that love cup, and filling up those emotional bank accounts. Because for many years, our emotional bank account was in the bankruptcy.
It was. So what do 5-to-1 ratios look like? So during the day, daily, 5-to-1 is during conflict. It should be 20-to-1 during the daily activities. It could be making the bed, my husband making the bed. Usually I do it, maybe he makes it that morning. It could be him mixing up my special omega-3 drink, the ground flax for me, and handing it to me to chug down. And it could be that I give him a hug at the door. It could be that, I don't know,
Text me during the day.
text
Hey.
them during the day, hey, I love you, or I really appreciate you putting up my flower boxes for me on Mother's Day. Or it could be whatever. There's so many ways of
Opportunities.
making positive interactions happen. And that is what, putting on those rose-colored glasses, right, to be able to see what the people around us that we love are doing right and appreciating it, and then in turn reciprocating it.
We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll go to the next session.